Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna have a little sit down talk. I just want to talk with you guys today. My dog is down here being needy because anytime I start talking, she starts looking at me like, are you picking me up or what? Literally, this is how she wants to film the video. She's like, I'm a part of this. Like, ma'am, come on. I don't know if she thinks it's time for dinner, but it's not. She's 2 hours early, ma'am. She's 2 hours early. Anyway, so I did want to do an update video on living in Las Vegas. A lot of you comment on my previous like apartment search videos and Vegas videos, just like, oh, being very interested in what I've posted and the videos that I've posted about Vegas. So I just thought I would make an update video for people who are interested in moving here, who are from like a different state, maybe like the pros and the cons, that kind of thing. I made a whole list of things to talk about in this video about Las Vegas. So we're gonna start with the weather. The weather is amazing. So if you're coming from like the East Coast like me, you will thoroughly enjoy the West Coast weather. Like, I've always loved the West Coast weather. The first time I ever came to the West Coast in general was when I came to Phoenix, and I was 18 years old, and I loved it. Like, I loved the West Coast more than anything. Like, you can't give me anything West Coast on the East Coast. Like, the vibes are different, the energy is different, the weather is different, and I absolutely love the weather. Currently today is Thanksgiving, and the high today was 65. Now, granted, that is still a little bit low, I feel like, because compared to what I've been having like the past week was 75, 77 degrees, okay? And then prior to that, October, we were hitting 80s, just like straight 80s all in like October. So the weather is just something I really love. So I'm not trying to be rude, but my neighbor is so loud when he's outside. He just like talks like, it's like he's right here. It's like he's right outside my door. That's how loud he is. I kind of want to close my window now because I feel like he's gonna hear me talking. So with the traffic, you have back on the East Coast where I'm from, the average speed on the street was like 35 miles an hour. You had some streets that were 45, 50, but that was like far and few in between. Way more like side streets, side roads out where I'm from versus like out here. You have a ton of main roads. Unless you go into like a development or you're in some like specific neighborhood where there are like side streets and everything, you really have a lot of main roads on like everywhere. But that's like the primary difference between like the driving in the East Coast and then here. It's much faster here. Most of the roads, the average speed is like 45 miles per hour on the streets. Just like, you're just going, like, cars are passing me and I'm going like 50, like they're going like 55, 60, and this is just on like the main road. It's fine. Turning in traffic, you have two left turning lanes, and primarily the right lane that they have here is primarily you have to turn right. If you're in that lane, it's either for buses or you turn right. So traffic is extremely different, but it's not something that you can't get used to. So to piggyback off of the traffic, I want to step into the population problem here. Not that it's a problem, it's heavily overpopulated here. I think this is for all West Coast cities. Correct me if I'm wrong, which I don't think I am. West Coast has way more apartment situations, apartment complexes, apartment buildings than on the East Coast. You have a ton of apartments in New York because New York is heavily populated, so you need somewhere to put the people. You need for them to be able to live somewhere, and that's the same for like the West Coast. A lot of apartment buildings, a lot of apartments being built. So my thinking is that the cities are so overpopulated, you really need somewhere to put the people, and that's why there are just like so many apartment buildings everywhere. Food. Okay, so this is one of my favorite topics. This is definitely a pro. There's so much good food here in Vegas. There is so much good food. Okay, like literally, if you're vegan, if you're plant-based, if you're pescatarian, whatever, you know, if you don't eat meat, there are so many non-meat, meat-free options here that you're gonna be so set. Like, you are set. There's like a vegan Chinese restaurant, vegan Thai, vegan Mexican restaurants, vegan Japanese, vegan sushi, like whatever you like literally want, there is a plant-based option for it. And I'm living for it, because back on the East Coast, especially coming from, I mean, I wouldn't say I definitely lived in the suburbs, first of all, and trying to find plant-based food, I definitely had to travel far from my house to get it. So say for instance, I probably had to travel, like for a vegan restaurant, I was literally like 35 minutes away from my house just for food. And literally I can leave my house right now and there's a vegan restaurant literally 5 minutes from me that way, and then there's another vegan restaurant maybe like 10 minutes from me that way. There's so much more food out here. I don't know if I will ever be able to try every single place. Like, and there are so many restaurants and so much food because the population is so large. Well, since I'm talking about food, we're gonna talk about the amount of the same restaurants you will see within like a 5-minute radius of you. So if you have a, like I just said, if you have Starbucks right here on Tropicana or on, you know, Flamingo, you have another Starbucks right there on the next street over, or like right down the street. Like, I kid you not, there's probably, I went to a Starbucks that's 5 minutes from me, and then in the very like opposite direction there's another Starbucks 2 minutes from me. So they can't be like even 10 minutes from each other. They're literally maybe like 7 minutes from one another. So you have a Starbucks here, a Starbucks here. You have like a Church's Chicken here and another Church's Chicken over here. You have like, I've seen like, what is it, Red Robin? I've seen so many Red Robins out here, and I've seen so many like Bahama Breezes. I'm just like, I thought these places went out of business because where I'm from is just not there anymore. I don't see Bahama Breeze. Like, it's gone, okay? It's gone. When I lived back on the East Coast, you had the one Starbucks and it was a good 7 minutes away from me, and then you had maybe another Starbucks and that one was like another 7 minutes, 10 minutes away. So they were not as close as they are here. I've met quite a few people out here, and so far everyone is super friendly. I have not, and that could just be a me thing, my own experiences, because I'm friendly and I'm nice to everyone, and I just think that, you know, that energy is reciprocated because I'm nice, they're nice in return. But for the most part, everyone around me where I live, super nice, super kind. Everyone says hello. People I meet out in public are nice. It's a very hospitable city, I would think. But I will say the homeless population, as you know, in Vegas, it's a high homeless population. I can't compare it to anywhere else because literally I lived in the suburbs on the East Coast, and then you would really only see homeless people when you went downtown. And it's kind of the same here, but you just see a lot of homeless people, like a lot. And I've also noticed that that is quite a little more common on the West Coast, because when I was in Phoenix, I saw a lot of homeless people. And I don't necessarily know if it's a lot. It was way more than I was used to, just from coming from the East Coast and there not really being that much of a homeless population on the East Coast that I physically saw all the time. I also really love that it's so diverse out here. As you guys know, I love languages. I love learning different languages. I know Spanish, I'm learning Dutch. I really just love learning languages. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever expressed that on my YouTube channel, that I love learning languages, but I do. So anyways, it's very diverse out here. You have so many different types of people living out here, and I just love that because I love hearing different languages. I love hearing people speak their native language to one another, and I love speaking to other people in their native language. So if I know your language, I try to speak to you in your language because that's fun for me. It's also practice for me to speak to other people in their languages. I don't know, I've heard like, definitely you hear Spanish, and and I can speak to people in Spanish. You hear like Cantonese. I've heard Italian. I've heard a lady with a British accent, and I know that sounds crazy, but I've only heard British accents on TV or on YouTube. I had never heard a British accent in person before. And I'm like, oh my God, she has a British accent. Like, that is cool to me, even though it's still English. I'm just like, this is so cool. This is just stuff you don't really experience coming from like a place where people are so, like where I come from, it's a lot of Black or white, and nobody's really speaking that different language out in public anyway. But you can go anywhere, and I love it. It just gives me more, like, it encourages me to want to learn more and more languages. Like, I love languages. That is definitely a pro for me. I gotta go get my list because I don't remember everything I wrote down. The nightlife / the strip. The strip is here. It's in Vegas. I see it every day. No, I don't go. I don't go. Like, I've been to Vegas probably like 7 times before I actually moved here. You know, I always stayed on the strip before I moved here. And then when I did move here, like the first 2 weeks that I came here, we did go on the strip. We did hang out, have fun, like stuff like that. But that quickly kind of wore off because I don't need to go to the strip, because I personally don't go out a lot. That's not really my thing. I don't like to go out and like party and club. Like, I'm almost 30. I'm literally 29 years old. So it's not really my thing to go out clubbing, partying, getting toasted, drunk, and then having to come home, having a hangover. Really not my thing anymore. You have the option of going out. You have the option of being able to just go party. Like, you'll get like Instagram ads like, oh, Drake's coming to Dre's, or somebody was at Drake. Like, it'll pop up. You'll always know like who's coming, who's gonna be here. You can click on it. Tickets range from like it depends on who the artist is. I'm not even gonna give like a number, but like the price range of getting into the club varies. There are ways to get in free. You just kind of gotta know the right people and how to do it. But personally for me, I don't go out all the time. I'm not a partier. So if I'm gonna go out, it's probably for a certain occasion or, you know, something like that. And not only do you have like a ton of clubs and a ton of like places to go when you're going out, you have like other things to do. Like, they have wax museums here. They have the hangover museum, like some kind of hangover tour bar thing going on. My friend really wants to go. She lives in Arizona. So she really wants us to go together. So whenever she comes back up here, we can definitely do that. We had a tea party at Virgin Hotels. Like, it's just so much to do. Oh my God, adjusting to the time change. So I'm 3 hours different than where I lived on the East Coast. Obviously, East Coast is 3 hours ahead of the West Coast. That time change kind of, it was hard. I will say that the time change was hard because it was just hard for me. And then when daylight savings hit like a month later after I moved, that was also hard. So when it's like 5 o'clock here, 5:30, I'm already like, it's already dark. The sun sets here at 4:30. So it's already dark by like 5:30, and I'm already wanting to get into bed. Like, it's time for bed, sis. It's nighttime. We gotta go to sleep. But I'm like, that's way too early. I cannot be going to bed at like 6 o'clock. And then I'm waking up every day at 3 a.m. So the time change and daylight savings time kind of me. But I'm slowly getting back used to it. I'm slowly going to bed at like 8, which is good. I'm trying to stay up until 9. We're trying to make it a 9 o'clock thing now. But I woke up at 6, so I don't know how we're gonna do that, but we're gonna try. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.